In Saigon, people pour it into cold iced coffee. In Bangkok, it mixes into bright orange tea. In Hong Kong, street vendors use it to make their famous milk tea rich and smooth, the same way they have done for more than 50 years. In Brazil, people cook it slowly until it turns into soft fudge, then roll it by hand. Across the different continents, sweetened condensed milk has become one of the most loved ingredients in the world. But here is the surprising part. This thick, golden liquid was never meant for coffee, tea, or desserts. It was created for a much more serious reason. Children were dying from bad milk. And the man who made it had already failed many times before. One of his inventions, a type of meat biscuit, made soldiers so sick they threw up. Another idea, a wagon that could travel on both land and water, sank during testing. Then one day, while traveling on a ship, he saw something that changed everything. A child died after drinking spoiled milk. After that moment, nothing else seemed important. That man was Gail Borden Jr., born in New York in 1801. During his life, he surveyed land across Texas and even helped plan the city of Galveston. For years, he tried to sell a dried beef biscuit. It even won a gold medal in London. But when the United States Army tried it, the soldiers became so sick they could barely eat it. On the ship ride home from that London event in 1851, something terrible happened. The cows on the ship became sick. Their milk went bad and became dangerous to drink. Children who drank it died. That trip ended Borden's beef biscuit idea forever. From that moment, he had a new goal. He wanted to find a way to keep milk safe. While searching for answers, Borden visited a Shaker community in New York. There, they showed him a special tool called a vacuum pan. It was a sealed machine that could boil liquids at lower temperatures, which helped protect them from burning. Borden spent the next 2 years testing ways to use this machine with milk. He found a way to remove about 60% of the water and add sugar to help preserve it naturally. In 1856, after fighting with patent officials for 3 long years, who said his idea was nothing new, he finally received his patent. But success did not come right away. He tried to start selling his new product, but his first factory in Connecticut failed within a single year. His second factory failed as well. It was destroyed by the financial crash of 1857. But then something unexpected happened. While riding on a train, Borden met a wealthy New York businessman named Jeremiah Milbank. Milbank believed in the idea and invested $100,000. Together, they started the New York Condensed Milk Company. The product was finally ready for the market. But there was one big problem. Almost no one was buying it. Here is something most people never hear about condensed milk. The science behind it is actually simple. The hard part is the discipline. The whole process begins with fresh, whole milk that must arrive only hours after the cows are milked. Borden created a set of strict rules for the farmers who supplied him. He called them the Dairyman's 10 Commandments. Every farmer had to follow them. Wash the cow's udder before milking. Keep the barns clean and swept. Strainers used for the milk had to be boiled and dried every morning and every night. Remember, this was many years before Louis Pasteur made hygiene a normal part of food safety. Once the milk arrived, it was gently heated to about 70 degrees Celsius. That temperature is high enough to kill harmful bacteria, but not so hot that it ruins the taste. Next, the milk moved into the vacuum pan. This was a sealed tank where the air pressure was lowered. Inside that chamber, water could evaporate at only 40 to 50 degrees Celsius instead of the usual 100 degrees Celsius. That detail was extremely important. If milk boils at full heat, its proteins break down and the sugars begin to burn. The result is a dark, bitter flavor. The vacuum method allowed water to slowly leave the milk without damaging it. Over several hours, about 60% of the water disappeared. What remained was thick, pale, and very concentrated. Then Borden added sugar. He mixed in enough sugar to bring the total concentration to about 45% of the liquid. That number was not random. It was the key to the whole invention. Every liquid has something scientists call water activity. It measures how much free water bacteria can use to grow. Pure water has a level of 1. Most bacteria need at least 0.91 to survive. But when sugar reaches about 45%, the water activity drops to around 0.83. That is too low for almost all harmful bacteria. The sugar does not actually kill the bacteria. It simply leaves them with nothing to live on. There simply is not enough free water left for bacteria to grow. And that explains something many people confuse. Sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk are not the same product. Both begin with the same vacuum process that removes water from fresh milk. But evaporated milk has no sugar added to it. Because of that, its water activity stays high enough for bacteria to survive. That is why evaporated milk has to be sterilized at very high heat. And once you open it, it still needs to be kept in the refrigerator. Condensed milk is different. The sugar handles the preservation in a way heat alone cannot. When the process is finished, the thick milk is poured into tin-coated steel cans and sealed tight. A single 10-ounce can contains about 1,300 calories and can sit on a shelf for months, even in warm weather. But the story does not stop there. In 1861, when the American Civil War began, the Union Army placed its first order for Borden's product, about 500 pounds. Fresh milk spoiled quickly in the hot southern climate before it could reach soldiers on the front lines. But Borden's canned milk stayed safe. By 1863, his factory was producing about 14,000 quarts every single day. He also began licensing his patent to producers across the country. When the war finally ended, many soldiers returned home already used to the product. They kept buying it. But the real spread of condensed milk happened far beyond the United States. Global shipping routes carried it across the Pacific Ocean. Military food supplies arrived in ports throughout Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Latin America. What started as a wartime ration slowly turned into something completely different. This is where the story takes an unexpected turn. In Vietnam, street vendors began mixing it with strong roasted coffee and ice, creating the drink known as Caphe Soi Da. In Bangkok, it became the sweet base of bright orange Thai iced tea sold from street carts. In Hong Kong, small street kitchens called Dai Pai Dong stirred it into rich milk tea for dock workers. In India, cooks used it to save hours of slowly boiling milk for traditional sweets. And in Brazil, people boiled sealed cans until the milk turned into a thick caramel dessert known as doce de leite. What began as a Western military supply slowly became a key ingredient in comfort foods across 4 continents. No one planned it that way. Gail Borden Jr. created condensed milk to fix one serious problem. He wanted to stop milk from making children sick and dying. He never imagined that his idea would one day feed soldiers, survive a major war, and travel across oceans to the rest of the world. He could never have pictured a woman in Saigon pouring it over a glass of ice. Or a grandmother in Sao Paulo slowly boiling a sealed can on her kitchen stove. Or a teenager in Bangkok ordering a cup of sweet Thai iced tea after school, never realizing that the creamy sweetness at the bottom began with a man who once watched children die after drinking spoiled milk on a ship. That is often how the most powerful inventions work. They do not succeed because someone planned every possible use. They succeed because they are simple enough for anyone to use, and flexible enough to become something completely new. Borden only wanted one thing: safe milk. The world turned it into something else: comfort. No one waited for permission. People simply started pouring it into whatever they loved. In the end, the same man whose failed meat biscuit once made soldiers throw up accidentally created one of the most loved ingredients across 4 continents. And the most surprising part? He never lived long enough to see just how far his invention would travel.